We only went and won a field. Like we won it. It felt like a prize. And this is the story of how we did it. Right, I know what you're thinking. First things first, what's going on with the hair? The lockdown hair. It's looking great, isn't it? It's blossoming, I feel. Thanks. Thanks a lot. Anyway, we won a field. What a strange thing to say. Now, what do I mean by that? What I mean is, we went to a land auction and we walked away with a bit of land. Right here, in the middle of the national park. We've purchased a piece of the national park. That's cool, isn't it? I'm going to tell you the story of how on earth we did that and how it was genuinely one of the best days of my life. It was brilliant. I loved it. What a thrill. I just got to do a little bit of pottering around in here first and then we're straight on to the story. Living in the middle of a national park, land never comes up for sale. Never. It's all either owned by the national park or it's owned by private farmers and they pass it down as inheritance. So in the middle of lockdown, when I spied a for sale sign on one of the fields near where we live, needless to say I was interested. Because I tell you what they don't make any more of these days. Land. Big difference from when Jess and I used to live in London to living up here is your pound goes a lot further up here in the north, not in London. So where we'd been saving for like, a decade to buy a 2-bedroom flat in Battersea, well that money now buys a lot more up here. So when we got the house, we also had a little bit of money knocking around left over. So partly the reason behind getting the field was just being opportunistic. It was available. And it was available like right at the end of lockdown. It was advertised for like 6 weeks in lockdown. And the auction was basically the first week that lockdown was eased and we were allowed to go places. So I was thinking, who's going to be going to auctions now? Who's going to have been here to have seen the sign? Not many people. Nobody locally I knew was interested in it. So I might as well go. Pick me up a bargain. What a day out. Wasn't far away, over the hills at Buxton, they have like an animal market and a land auction like every month. So if you're a farmer and you need more animals, sheep, cows, pigs, etc., you go there and you bid on them at auction and you win. You buy cows and sheep and pigs, etc. I'm sure other stuff. So that means you go into this giant like stadium and there's just animals and farmers and the stuff animals leave behind just everywhere, just all over the floors. Very rural, but inside of like a giant stadium. So we went to this auction not knowing what to expect. Like I said, lockdown had only just ended. You had to kind of pre-book coming to the auction because the lockdown restrictions were so tight. So I went along, took my sister with me for company and to keep me settled because I thought it might spiral out of control. Land is really precious. Like I said, they don't make it anymore. So its value only goes up over time. Unless you're in like a floodplain or on the coast and you might collapse into the sea, which we're not. Other than that, land value only goes up. So we went to this auction and they space us all out and we sit there, there's maybe 24 people in the room and 3 or 4 people on the phones dialing in, lectern in front of us with a man with a hammer doing all of this, and there's only 3 lots up for sale and ours is up first. Now I've never been to a proper auction. I've been to like joke auctions, like charity things and stuff like that, but I've never been to a proper auction where the people there actually want what's for sale and they've opted to come because of what's for sale. So I was really intimidated, like really intimidated. And I was hoping I'd see it happen once or twice first before I have to dive in. But no, lot number 1 is our field. It was brilliant. It was so intense, and probably made more intense by the fact there wasn't that many people there. Everybody there wanted to be purchasing something that day. The bidding starts. Obviously the bidding price starts way up high, kind of like where they expected to sell at. And I was told a little tip before I went, don't bid early. Wait for the price to drop really low, and that's when people start bidding. And apparently, you're supposed to never bid first. You let the other people bid so you can see who's in the game. Well, I tried that to a degree. I was semi-successful at that. After 2 or 3 people were jumping in, I couldn't help myself. My little hand just went up. I was like, oh, I'm in this. Yeah, I want me that field. From the opening point of where they're expecting to sell it, the price dropped by half, before then slowly creeping its way up. And I tell you what, that last few minutes where one by one in the room, other people were shaking their head and backing out from it, some of the most intense minutes I've ever lived. Because I wanted the field, but I also had a budget that I didn't want to break. You know, I'm nervous. I don't want to push through the top of my budget, but I want to defeat these people. There's a guy on the phone, so of course I don't know who that is. I don't know what they're, does he look like a farmery type? Does he look like a big businessman with money flowing out of his pockets? Couldn't gauge it, whereas everybody else in the room I could kind of get a feel for. Of course it came down to just me and the fella on the phone. We'd seen away 6 or 7 other interested parties. And because it's on the phone, it takes that little bit longer. So the guy with the gavel is doing this, he's like, it's with you, sir, at whatever it was at the time. And I'm like, yeah, I'm still in. Goes to the phones, wait. Yeah, he's still in. Okay, right, yeah, I'll go for a bit more. And it's going up in, £1,000 at a time. So this is expensive every time he comes back to you. It's getting expensive until the guy on the phone doesn't go 1,000, he goes 500. I'm like, oh, right, you're getting to the end of your tether now. And I knew I still had a little bit of elbow room in the budget. Clung on for dear life. The longest, probably 10 seconds of my life, is when that guy with the gavel is stood there going, it's with you. It's with you going once, with you going twice, does his little survey of the room, 3 times, well, come on! Sold to you for a boatload of money. I'm like, oh, brilliant. I didn't do that. That's what I did inside. On my exterior, great. My sister, who sat next to me, who wasn't allowed to talk during this whole time and just basically almost imploded. She couldn't contain herself for the excitement of how tense the whole environment was. Almost imploded. I'm just sat there, it's like, but inside, was brilliant. Now, because it was COVID, we then had to sit in the room for the rest of the time and wait for the rest of the things to wrap up. I think if it'd been a normal auction, I'd have been outside straight away doing this. Doopy doop doop doop. Beer. But I wasn't. Waited patiently. Went up afterwards, chatted with the bloke. Turns out he knew a lot of the same people I did. Did the deal right there and then on the day. A few days later, paperwork through the door. I own a bit of land. 4 of your finest national park acres. And that's now mine. In perpetuity. No one can take that away from me. That's the story. It was great. So what do you reckon of this big bad boy? 4 acres of your finest green grass. Slap bang in the middle of the national park. What a find. So what am I going to do with the giant field, you ask? I've got no idea. Cyclocross course? Cross-country mountain bike course? Grow carrots? I don't know. Festival? Hey, do you guys want to come to a festival? Today is also a special day because today is New Drone Day. That's right, that's a thing. Why do I need a new drone? Well, because I bartered the old one for some graphic design work I needed doing. And DJI just released a new one, so get some of that in me. knackered now. We've had one of those days where we've been moving around, shooting loads of content for the Jam website. I probably did about 50 mock sprints. I'm knackered after doing those. Here, I'm a landowner now. What do you think of my landowner's coat? Get off my land! That's what I'm basically going to practice saying for a while. What's the new drone, I hear you ask? The Mavic Air 2. It's really good. It's really, really, really good. It must be like a third of the weight of my old one. Flies better, and the camera seems better. I'm delighted with it. That was the story of how we won a field. And it did feel like winning, because I had to compete to get it. Sure, I had to pay at the end, but how much does 4 acres in the national park cost? I hear you ask. Let's not be too explicit about price points, but let's say a bit of land of that kind of farming stock is valued anywhere between about £8,000 and £12,000 per acre, and I bought 4 acres. It's somewhere in there. But now I own a field. So here's my question to you guys. What the hell am I going to do on it? I've got all kinds of options. I've got all kinds of things springing up. No, I'm not going to build houses on it. It's in the middle of the national park. I want to do something nice on it. Bike packing festival, maybe. A little pop-up campsite for bike packers travelling through, perhaps. Grow me a boatload of vegetables, don't know. Raise some animals, maybe. Let me know what you think. Rewild the whole thing, someone told me the other day. That would be a very expensive investment in a rewilding project. Rewild part of it, now you're talking. So, let me know down below. What should I do with a bit of land? Hey, we could use it as a wedding venue.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good idea.
That's one day of the year.
That's one day to sort it out.
And then put some animals on it.
Get some animals.
Some animals.
Jam animals. Jaminals.
Jaminals.
Get some jaminals. Circus. The Royal Moscow Circus wants to come on down.
Yeah.
It's big enough to host a circus. That's got her ladyship off to work. I've gone and acquired myself a nice big loaf of sourdough bread for my lunch, so yum yum yum. I'm gonna get this home, get this edited and out to you straight away. It's Friday lunchtime. Let's see if I can get to you in the next 2 hours. That's a good target. Enjoy your weekend. We're gonna enjoy ours. Storm blowing through. Shouldn't keep us off the bikes, but we'll see. Thank you as always for watching. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Any comments, thoughts on what we should do with our field, please do let us know. We're open to all kinds of ideas. Other than that, we'll see you next time. Bye!